everybody, this is Vince Miller. Thank you so much for joining me for our devotional. Today we begin Acts chapter 4. I'm going to be reading verses 1 through 4. As they were speaking to the people, the priests and the captain of the temple and the Sadducees came upon them, greatly annoyed because they were teaching the people and proclaiming in Jesus the resurrection from the dead. And they arrested them and put them in custody until the next day, for it was already evening. But many of those who had heard the word believed, and the number of men came to about 5,000. Well, this short after actions report is a reminder that some people are going to hear the truth and accept it, and others are going to hear it and reject it, right? That's just the way it always is. But I think sometimes we're afraid to speak the truth, not because we don't know it, but only because we're afraid of the consequences. Because the truth and speaking the truth has consequences every single time, doesn't it? Just consider Peter. Peter had been in this moment before. In fact, 50 days prior, in the high priest's courtyard, he denied being associated with Jesus because he knew speaking the truth had social consequences on his life. The risks at that moment were not worth the unforeseen rewards. And because he was paralyzed by this fear, he lied. But 50 days later, Peter is a different man. He is less fearful. He knows the risks. He knows the rewards. He knows the consequences. And at this national celebration, instead of denying Christ, he defends him. And guess what? It has consequences, both bad and good. But he's ready to embrace them both for the sake of God's truth. You know, for too long, I think we as followers have been scared of speaking God's truth. We have become increasingly fearful of the social consequences. We're afraid of being maybe censored or canceled by a world that perpetuates untruth through hyperbole and hate. We've become afraid that we'll be labeled as maybe intolerant, bigoted, hateful, racist, self-righteous, or even arrogant. And yes, guess what? This might happen. And at times God's truth will offend or be misunderstood. But when we speak God's truth in His time and on His behalf, in His way, there are also other consequences, good consequences. Just consider this. Peter stood up and spoke twice in Acts 2 through 3. These two talks happened back to back within a short period of time. The first time he speaks, 3,000 people believe and are saved. The second time, 5,000 people believe and are saved. These approximately 8,000 new believers were about to travel back to their homes all over the land of Israel, spreading this good news. So yes, speaking the truth has consequences. So do this. Speak up for truth today, but not for your truth. Speak up for God's truth. Be bold, be brave, and trust God, not just with His truth, but with the consequences of His truth in the lives of others. You never know. What you say today might impact the lives of others tomorrow. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this devotional. Share it with someone you know. Do me that favor. Hit that subscribe button below, and we'll see you right back here again tomorrow.